This is why I love One Piece. Okay, so a while back I made a post, it was a joke saying, alright, I love crazy tinfoil hat theories, obviously. Where are the crazy theories about the celestial dragons wearing spacesuits because they're actually the descendants of space pirates? Too many people did not get the joke, and I got so many messages saying, in a some of them polite way, calling me an idiot who didn't read the story, saying, don't you know that they wear the spacesuits so they don't have to breathe the air commoners? I'm like, you're missing the joke. Tinfoil hat theory, not meant to be taken literal, or not taken seriously. But then I'm just like, wait a minute. What if they did descend from space pirates? Do we have any evidence of that? I gotta look into this. So, I posit that the celestial dragons originated from space pirates, or one of the moons that is circling the One Piece world, came to Earth and originally had to keep their spacesuits on because they weren't fully acclimated to the climate and needed some time, maybe even generations, to be able to breathe the air in our atmosphere absolutely normally. But then through so many games of telephone over generations and centuries, eventually modern day confuse not taking off the helmets because they literally couldn't breathe the air around them with didn't want to breathe the air of common people because they're so much better than them. And then I'm like, okay, what evidence do we have that they come from outer space other than the fact that everywhere we got space imagery in their names? So you have the celestial dragons, all named after planets. We have the gods' knights in the terms of Figureland, however it's pronounced, named possibly after modern Greek word for moon. Also, you know, what he looks like with the crescent moon. And then the Rosewall, or however you pronounce their name, family, we've established I'm bad with names, sounds suspiciously like Roswell, New Mexico, known for its alien landing crash site, supposedly. And I'm just like, that's a little much. But then the theory, that's pretty much as much evidence as I could get for it. It's not even really enough to go full tinfoil hat on me. But I did start going into, okay, names of planets, names of celestial dragons. If they originated from the moon, I have been saying from the very beginning that the Uranus would just make sense if it was on the moon. So, do the Celeste, and not to mention, new chapters, we have them using the Mother Flame and Vegapunk's technology, creating a weapon that is likely based off the original Uranus. I do not think it's the original ancient weapon, but Vegapunk used its information and technology to create a new one. And I'm like, the Celestial Dragons may have had the original Uranus up there on the moon. Okay, so the beginning of the spiral started with just listing out the names. So we already have celestial dragons, the gorosei, named after Mercury, Venus. The one with the pointy hat is Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Then you have Uranus being the ancient weapon. Neptune is technically Poseidon, different name for it, and Pluton being Pluto. So they are all corresponding already, but I'm like, okay, Neptune's a little bit weak being Poseidon. Let me just see if there's any relationship I can go into. So I just looked up the planet Neptune, only to realize that it is the planet known to be the twin of Uranus. Uranus and Neptune are known as twin planets. I'm like, okay then. So Neptune / Poseidon being Shirahoshi as a mortal person vessel for the ancient weapon. Maybe we have a similar thing with Uranus, and one of the celestial dragons actually will be the Uranus, or at least being able to power and activate it, which I think will work regardless, because I still maintain that the ancient weapons will have a captain and a ship. It'll be two components. And until Oda specifically says otherwise, I'm dying on that hill. There are going to be two parts to the ancient weapon, the ship and the captain. Shirahoshi is the captain, maybe the Poseidon, boat Noah, there we go, the boat Noah will be her ship. We'll have Pluton that's sleeping under the water, and I don't even think it's really a battleship. I think that the one sleeping under the water in Wano is another physical thing that will have a ship component attached to it, and the blueprints that Frankie has is actually a countermeasure to the Poseidon. the Pluton. So it would be the exact opposite to take advantage of the Pluton's weakness. But that is not the tinfoil hat theory we're getting into right now. So which celestial dragon would be the physical vessel of the Uranus? And I think we're given more or less this answer through Shinky in so the Golden Lion guy from episode 0 when he confronts Roger, saying that I know that you know the location of one of the ancient weapons. Become my right hand man. We'll take over the world together. Yada yada yada. So that was like stuff set up after Strong World. And Roger saying no to this, but this was before he had ever met Odin. So we know that he didn't know about the Poseidon at this time point. He hadn't been to Wano, so he hadn't learned from that part that we had Pluton sleeping under the water. He could know about the Pluton through Tom, as he had the blueprints. Again, I think it's a countermeasure, so not actually Pluton, but it would still technically work for knowing the location of that ancient weapon, knowing the location of the blueprints. However, I think Roger knows the location of the Uranus, and I think he learned this through God Valley instance. So, I have been saying that I do not know why everyone had to team up against Rox and protect the Celestial Dragons, because what could Rox have been doing that was so bad that it was worse than the Celestial Dragons being in charge? What's worse is he was trying to gain access to an ancient weapon to kill everybody, be unstoppable, take over the world in probably a madness fit. Either that or Rox was completely vilified by the world government and actually did nothing wrong. Slander. Could just be slander. But we'll go with the fact that he was trying to take over the world, actual menace, need to be stopped, could not be allowed to get their hands on this ancient weapon. And during that incident, Rox told Roger who among him that he had come to God Valley to try to capture actually had the potential to become the ancient weapon Uranus. And it ends up being Shanks, or at least the Figureland family. And when Roger ended up getting hold of a baby in a treasure chest, he realized, oh God, this baby could become the Uranus. I gotta keep it. I'm gonna raise it. I'm gonna make sure the Celestial Dragons don't get him, and I'm gonna make sure he doesn't grow up being raised to be a little psychopath. So Shanks himself being the Uranus. And what evidence do we have of this? Probably nothing. It just sounds like a fun tinfoil hat theory. It has seeped into my brain, and this is just a fun little narrative plot to go down. So, what has Shanks done that's been sketchy? Pretty much everything. But number one being the fact that he can just walk into the Five Elders room and get a meeting with the gorosei during the reverie. Except maybe he didn't. So, I am ashamed, absolutely ashamed, because I was too swept up in the reverie, to notice the fact that Oda purposely did not draw Shanks to show his classic scar. And when you put the two panels of him in, like, profile, in the periphery, whatever, lined up from when he was in with the gorosei versus when he was meeting with Whitebeard, you'll notice that the scar is missing. It doesn't come up over the corner of his eyebrow there. So this may not be Shanks. And I do not put it past Oda to pull an evil twin theory. Just trope out of nowhere, and I'd love it. More importantly, the information that he gave to the gorosei. So saying that he wants to talk about a certain pirate. Not to mention the gorosei just going off, hey, you shouldn't, a man of your stature, stats, whatever, shouldn't be getting into anything political. As if a Yonko isn't political in the fact that the balance of power and everything like that. But this man is not a Yonko because it's not Shanks. So, he starts talking about wanting to give him information on a certain pirate. Now, originally, I'm thinking the obvious answer, because I thought it was Shanks, talking about maybe Blackbeard or something. But what if he was actually giving information about Luffy and the fact that they had the Nika fruit, or the Hito no Mi model Nika, where I'm just calling it Nika, too big of a mouthful otherwise. Now, second tangent. Let's put aside the fact that Vegapunk said that Gum Gum Fruit didn't show up in early books of Devil Fruit descriptions, yada yada, names. And let's just assume that the gorosei did not know how Nika's Devil Fruit would manifest, that it would have this rubbery power. in terms of it could have presented in different ways. What if they thought they had already killed the person who ate Nika's devil fruit because they had known Shanks had taken it and was searching for a person to give it to? I maintain Shanks had been looking for Ace originally. Ace had eaten the flame fruit. Nika is the god of the sun and fire. What if in taking out Roger's kid, they also thought that they were taking out the one who had Nika's devil fruit and didn't have to worry about it anymore, hence why they also didn't spend as much resources as they could have to hunt down Luffy, in terms of they weren't sending admirals or gods, knights, or anyone else after CP0 if they knew he had Nika's devil fruit. Rather than just assuming that he wouldn't awaken it, they literally thought that a different character had it, which just hurts me because it was just another reason for them to target Ace, and I can't go down that. But no, they knew from the beginning that the gum fruit didn't exist, which I still say is a stupid decision, because to see Luffy go up against someone who has the actual gum fruit would be really cool. But no, okay. They knew the gum fruit didn't exist, so they knew Luffy had Nika's devil fruit. But still, it was a nice little thought that they had thought that they already took out the person with Nika's devil fruit, and now this other character, who is not Shanks, shows up being like, no, you didn't, because I have been searching my twin's path, and it turns out he actually gave the devil fruit to this other kid. But maybe he was giving some other information that he learned through researching Shanks, finding more about Luffy, what's going on there. So there are two different ways the Shanks twin theory could go, and this being either he actually had a twin brother that was left behind at God Valley incident, and the gorosei are just like, and the celestial dragons are just like, well, we only need one, because maybe they both would have the power of the Uranus, or maybe we're playing our odds that this one will have it too, or anything like that, and they wouldn't really be okay with Roger just going off with it, or the baby being lost. So there had to be another option. Maybe he's not a twin. Maybe he's a clone. We know Stussy is a clone from the original Rocks Pirate. She's in her 20-ish years. So the cloning technology has been going on for a long enough time that we can assume if there was any DNA, whatever that they were going to use to clone Shanks as a baby into now a new Shanks that will still hold the power of the Uranus, then the Celestial Dragons could have done that. And this just goes to show that even when my tinfoil hat has been thrown in the garbage, thank you, cat, eating the hat, it can still seep into my brain and make me go down these crazy rabbit holes. So this was fun. Talk to you later. Bye.